from sort of time immemorial, people have been being partnered up, and once you commit to someone, you should stay with them, and no matter what, and she's Hester's marriage is dead. It's like living in a coffin. There's nothing happening there. It's loveless. So she's sort of fighting for her life, literally. And Freddie, I think, helps her discover her own self-possession as a woman, but then he can't take her the whole way. It seems to be about a very constricted, constrained time, and a very constricted, constrained woman in a constricted and constrained world. And it's about the rebellion and the triumph of feeling over propriety. So here is this woman who is stuck, living in the value system which she hasn't necessarily chosen, she hasn't authored, she hasn't discovered or explored, first under her father's sort of moral rule as a rector or a chaplain, and then under her husband's rule as a high court judge. So there's all of this societal code that she's having to live by, which hasn't ever been tested, or the envelope hasn't been pushed. And she meets Freddie, who I play, and something about the freeness of his spirit and the sort of lawlessness of their affair together. It's against the rules. She's married to another man. That's infidelity in sort of the law of a Christian God. That's infidelity in society. It's wrong. There are people around who are saying, you can't do that, what you have done is wrong, sleeping with this man, having an affair with him. But in a way, it's the sort of, it's about her breaking free from constraint in a way, and how the heart is ungovernable. He's a decorated pilot. He fought in the Battle of Britain and survived. He's one of those heroes. He's a war hero. And I think that experience has given him a vitality which is kind of magnetic. He has huge charisma. And I think in the post-war England, it's been difficult for him to find a place which can really equal that as status in society. In a way, I think he probably became addicted to the adrenaline. He became addicted to the speed and the life and death kind of thrill of every single day. You get in a plane, which is essentially like a motorbike with wings. Those Spitfires and Hurricanes. And to survive that, you would be high as a kite for a long time. And you can't then come back to society and become a bank clerk or an accountant or a solicitor. And so he lives for the moment. He doesn't live for material acquisition. He lives for golf and Guinness and singing in the pub and driving 93 miles an hour down the Great West Road. And it's a sort of game, and I feel like because of those experiences in the war, he's a free spirit. You just read a script and you think, you feel compelled to do it. I have to do this, or it's like you feel that somehow you already know what it is. So I read this part and I was like, I know this man. I know who he is. I know his complication. I know his charm, his ebullience, his joy, his delight, his kind of vitality, but I also know his pain, his anger. I felt like you just see it immediately. You see it in your mind and you just take it. I called my agent immediately and I said, I have to play this part. There are no villains, first of all. That was another thing, that I loved how deeply portrayed and sort of three-dimensional each character was, so that there was nobody, neither Rattigan nor Terence Davis seemed to be standing in judgment on anyone. So Freddie's not a villain for taking Hester away from Collier, and Collier's there's nothing wrong with him. He's a nice man. In fact, he's an impeccable man. And he really isn't at fault in a way. It's just that Hester needs love that she hasn't received before. So she needs and Freddie can offer that because Freddie is kind of alive. But then again, Freddie is alive in a very flawed way because I think his consciousness will only, he will only go so deep before he shuts off. And even that's interesting, that part of why Freddie shuts off from kind of commitment, why he shuts off possibly from loving her in the way that she would like to be loved by him. And I mean, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and it just seems to be very, very, very human. People have gone back and looked at Terence Rattigan and gone, actually, this is really heart-stopping, very deep, very, very, very well-made work, and it deserves its place in the canon. I mean, it can still speak to us, and I think it does as well. I think Englishness is quite interesting in this conversation. I think you couldn't make, the story is very English, it's not American, it's not even European. The characters, the repression, the kind of the buttoned up, starched collar, corset thing of we're not very good at bursting the dams of our feelings is something that I think we're still just as hopeless at, you know, as a race, as a people. I think we're still, not very good at handling that. So I think there'll be some kind of appeal there. There'll be some kind of, Hester's fight for feeling and freedom will be one that we'll empathise with.